Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today I got another Spinnaker watch for review, and this is their Beluga Blue. So what I really like about Spinnaker, they make amazing dive watches, super affordable, and their deals are insane. I always find it really interesting. You know, I don't mean to come back to like, I won't say the other brand, right? But I feel like a lot of times brands get an unfair shake when it comes to some of their, I guess, the way that they market. And I guess every brand's going to have their own style of marketing, but let's face it, every brand puts a high MSRP. It's no different than a brand like Rolex. The difference between Rolex, and it is ingenious, they put an MSRP that's actually lower than what the watches are selling for. A lot of times, sometimes more, but that's kind of what drives this kind of frenzy going on where people are like, oh, it's worth more. It's worth more than MSRP. So it is really ingenious. Most other companies out there put a higher MSRP and then sell it for less. It gives them room to kind of adjust the price based on time of the year, sales. They kind of, and every brick and mortar store does as well. Promotions. I guess I would much rather see, I guess it has something to do with human beings and our psychology, but I would just much rather see a company who picks the price of their watch and says, hey, this is what we sell for. It's never on sale. It's never going to go up. This is, unless of course manufacturing costs go up, but this is the price we pick. Live with it, right? But every brand does this, and Spinnaker is no different. Although Spinnaker, they don't do the insane stuff that other brands do. They don't do that insane, 50% off today. I think that a lot of times the companies do that. If somebody were to buy a watch for, let's say, $1,000, then it goes on sale for 50% off, they feel like they got burned. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's a way to really treat your customers and hold on to your customers. So I like that Spinnaker, they don't do that kind of stuff. They do pick a price that they normally sell it for, and then sometimes it goes on sale. But the sales are never absolutely insane and obscene, right? So the other thing I really like about Spinnaker is that they do collaborations that are, I guess, kind of, I would call them collaborations either for, veterans and different military branches. In this case, this one here is the Beluga Blue, and this is a whale sanctuary project. So I like that they do collaborations like this. It gives you something that, I don't know, kind of a cause when you're buying the watch, right? And so I had my eye on this, not really for that reason, but just for the color combination. But nonetheless, I think it's a really great addition, and it's super unique, and there's nothing else that's going to look exactly like this. So here is the box for the Beluga Blue, the Sanctuary Project Limited Edition. This is model number SP5128-11 for those of you who need the model number. I always put the link in the description, so check it out. And there is a coupon code in there as well. If you do make a purchase through Spinnaker, use my coupon code. It'll save you some bucks, right? So these are limited edition to 1,000. 1,000's kind of, I don't know, 1,000 to me is not really all that limited, right? I think limited edition should really be 200 or less. But, they want to sell watches, and, to make a really popular watch and sell 100, that's not, you're not really going to capitalize off the cool product you made. So, but we'll get to that. So, all right, so there's the box. You have the whale on the front here. Open up the box. We have right on the front here the Whale Sanctuary Project Back to Nature in Spinnaker. We open it on up here, and I've already opened this up, of course. We get a little a supporter thank you card. I'm not going to read this. And, of course, a little bit about the Whale Sanctuary Project, and of course, letting you know that this is made, I believe, with recycled materials, and just kind of a basic cardboard box. Not really much to write home about, but I think, again, it is, it's a cardboard box, right? Sometimes Spinnaker will do the dive cases, and I think they could have done, I don't know, to me, some people really like the presentation. For me, it's all about the watch. I never really care so much about the packaging, but some folks do. So I don't, you be the judge. So there it is there. And of course, here is the watch. Now this is not sized yet. I've yet to wear this, and I will probably today, but just a great looking piece. And what I love about this watch is the lume. So that and I'll throw some pictures up here. That whale and I guess this kind of inner ring here around the bezel actually glows when it's charged up with sunlight, of course. Really cool. And then you flip it over to the back, and we have an exhibition window, but I like kind of how they did this. They did an exhibition window that appears to be a piece of stainless steel that's been carved out with the whale, and the whale is actually the window. So you're looking through the whale into the movement, and you can kind of see the rotor flipping around. So kind of a not really full exhibition window, but I really dig the back on this. I think they really knocked it out of the park. You know exactly what the watch is about. You know it's whale themed. You know, you may not know about the Sanctuary Project, but you know that it has something to do with whales, right? So very cool. I'm just going to read you what they list on their website here. We'll throw on the wrist, tell you some of those checkboxes / specifications, see if this is a watch you might want to add to your collection. And I'll show you some close-ups too. I'll throw a couple up here to keep you guys engaged. So it says here, limited 1,000 pieces, get one free Beluga cap. Where is the Beluga cap? I just had that here. Sorry, folks. The Beluga cap is... There it is. When they sent me this, I thought that this was just something they sent me just kind of to wear in a video, but it is actually, does come with the watch. So pretty cool. It says here, Whale Sanctuary Project, Back to Nature. I like stuff like this because you're not going to like, a cap like this you're not just going to buy, right? So if you are really into the oceans, I know I find that people tend to really kind of like the, what do you call it, the swag or the gear, right? I don't know what the kids are calling it nowadays, but you see it all over YouTube. Support your channel, all stuff. I'm wearing a Typhoon Defense shirt today, so we all kind of express ourselves a lot of times with the brands that we like and the brands we want to show support for. So this is pretty cool. I know when we used to go crabbing quite a bit, you'd have guys wearing the, I don't know what brand this is, it's like Eat More Crab or something, and you got the guys wearing like the Gundy's logos, just like construction guys like the Carhartt stuff, and not just saying construction. You know, you got cowboys and guys who work on ranches and farms rocking all different brands, but I like the fact they included this. You got the Spinnaker patch on the front, and now, this is going to be really large on me. Of course, you do have the Velcro adjustment in the back, but I have I wouldn't say I have a small head, but we'll call a smaller head. I don't know, like 7¼ I think, maybe 7 I wear. But let me just kind of see how this one looks here. Yeah, so really pretty big. This is like a massive hat. I don't know what honestly, this is kind of like something I'm going to bash Spinnaker on a little bit. Like, I don't know why you make a hat. This is ridiculous. This is like, I have to bring this down to like the smallest setting. Oops, no, we can go a little smaller. This is absolutely ridiculous. They made this hat way too big. I can't even get this thing adjusted here. Bear with me. Alright, so there's the hat. You know, kind of standard trucker hat, but I feel like this is larger. But all right, there, it doesn't look great. But hey, you know, hang on a second. You get a hat, all right? All right, so then back to the watch. It says here, this is actually the Haas. So they make the Haas in several different variations. This is their limited edition version of the Whale Sanctuary Haas variation. It says here, Haas Automatic Whale Sanctuary Project. Limited edition pays homage to majestic ocean dwellers that captivate our hearts. Some of these videos are awful to get through. That captivate our hearts. Whales. Alright, so comprising 2 different variants, the collection is an embodiment of Spinnaker's ethos, which marries style and substance with a deep appreciation for marine life. So Spinnaker, all their watches, you know, they have some sort of theme. I shouldn't say all, but a lot of their watches. It's like Nubeo. We have the sea-themed versions. We have and if you don't know why I mentioned Nubeo is the same company as Spinnaker. They're owned by Dartmouth. So Dartmouth is their, is their parent company. They have their space-themed watches, and of course their ocean-themed, and they usually tie either a sea creature in, or like some sort of vessel, or, you know, in space, you know, a satellite or a planet, something like that. So I like that they do that in a lot of their watches. Of course, this one is, again, it doesn't seem like that they donate. I'm not seeing anything written here saying they donate to anything, but they, you know, I'm not sure why they call it a project. Maybe the Whale Sanctuary is a project, but I'm not sure how this watch relates to that. Like, are they donating money? I just don't know. And maybe that's somewhere on their site, but I would expect it to have said that under the watch description. But nonetheless, if you are a person who loves marine life, works in marine life, really appreciates whales, and, you know, ocean life in general, this for me was definitely one I wanted to add to my collection, because I am one of those guys who appreciates the ocean. I love, you know, what we get out of the ocean. I love the beauty of the ocean. Again, and don't work in the ocean, you know, but I think we don't have to be experts a lot of times just to appreciate things in nature. I dig this, you know. So on the hands, we have actually don't know if you can see this here. We have kind of like a baby blue face. It's kind of like got a gradient to it. It almost kind of as it heads from the bezel in, it gradiates towards more of like a white. It's a very frosty watch, I'd say. I don't have any watch with this baby blue in my collection quite like this. It's very sleek. It's very icy is the best way I could describe this color combination of silver, white, and that baby blue. And then, of course, you have the whale right in the middle. I'll throw a lume shot up here right now. You can see how cool that is when this is backlit. The whale glows. There isn't tritium in this or any kind of batteries, so of course this isn't automatic. You're not going to get tons of glow time out of this, but, and I didn't put this to the test, they don't list what kind of lume. This is, again, one of the issues a lot of times. The Dartmouth brand, they don't put all the information on there. I guess it's probably, I don't know why they don't. Lume is a pretty important, I think for a lot of folks buying a watch, a pretty important check boxes, I call them. But let's get to those specifications though while we're there. Japanese automatic with 3 hands. I'm looking at the way the rotor turns in this. I would say that it's definitely not a, let me see here. Let me try to get it to rotate. Well, this might be. This was Japanese 3 hands. Oh, there we go. I got a marking. It's an NH35, I believe, on this. I see an NH. It looks like a 35. Without pulling out a loop here, I can't really. Let's see if I can see it a little better here. H35, so that's cool. So again, that's one checkbox that I talk about in all my videos when it comes to watches, is everybody has a different set of features they're looking for in a watch. I'm very open-minded and very liberal, I think, when it comes to what I will accept and what I'll wear. You know, I think that all watches nowadays are fantastic quality. There's not a lot of companies, if any, making, I shouldn't say if any, I'm sure you could get like some really inexpensive, you know, like if you found the watch in the Dollar Tree, right? If you did find one there, it's going to be a very cheap, you know, very inexpensive watch. But, you know, for the most part, when you look at brands out there who are making watches, whether it be luxury brands or fashion brands or tool watches or just designer watches, you know, they're all made with a certain level of precision and quality. And, you know, for people to throw, you know, the word shitter around or junk, it's just completely inaccurate, right? So what am I, again, if you're new to this video, I always mention this because not a lot of times do the same people watch my videos. It's new. Most of the time it's not the people subscribe to the channel, it's new viewers. So what are the check boxes I look for in a watch? I think, you know, arguably, I've said so many things in different videos, but my checkboxes always remain the same. One, do you like the watch? That's most important. Like, do you like the watch? Is this something that appeals to you? You know, are you a person who enjoys the ocean? This might be something that you're drawn to. If you're really, you know, a space buff, you might like the new Bayo line, you know? So I think you absolutely have to like the watch. I don't see why you'd buy anything on this planet for the approval of other people, or if you just didn't like it. Like if you absolutely, I don't know who would, but if you hate whales, like this isn't the watch for you, right? So do you like it? Number two, my number two, almost number one checkbox is, what is it made out of? Is it 316 stainless steel? That's really all you need. I mean, it doesn't mean I won't wear a watch that's not 316. Sometimes they'll use different alloys and plate the watches, but for the most part, anytime I'm looking for a watch, I really want it to be 316, plated or not. So this is a 316L stainless steel watch. You're getting a level of quality and craftsmanship that you just don't need anything more than that, right? I know, guys, 904, you know, now, again, if it's gold or precious, that's a different reason for wanting to own that. Bronze, brass, I have a lot of different materials, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they all look great. They just look different. And ultimately, if you're getting a high-quality alloy, like 316 stainless steel, then you don't really need any more than that, right? What kind of, next to that, is it an automatic or quartz? I always gravitate towards automatic watches. I just prefer an automatic movement. I like the idea of not having to put a battery in them. I like the mechanics behind it, but that's really about as far as my critiquing goes. Of course, you know, I am curious a lot of times at a watch, and it's easier for me to say this because I got this watch for free, right? So I don't want to ever just pretend like that isn't a factor, right, in the way that I'm reviewing, but I'm trying to review these objectively and give you guys my check boxes. Would this be a watch that I would necessarily buy? There's so many different watches out there to choose from. I don't know where any of my watches would fall on a list if I had to pay for all of them. There's always going to be ones that I absolutely have to have, and ones where I might say, hey, you know, I probably would have got something else. There's so many other options, but this is a fantastic watch, and again, when I review these, I'm giving you guys my check boxes, what I look for when buying a watch, or even reviewing a watch. I'll review watches that are really affordable a lot of times, like super cheap, that aren't on the level of quality that I look for. That doesn't mean I wouldn't necessarily buy. Like I bought a Tivis. I don't even think it's 316 stainless steel. It was like $19.99. I still wear it from time to time. But you know, when you have so many watches, none of them get a lot of wrist time. So that's kind of a factor in which ones I wear on a daily basis. Depends on what I'm doing. But the check boxes kind of remain the same for the most part. Like, it's not a steadfast rule, like I won't wear it. Like, I'm not a snob about it. I won't wear it if it's not 316 like a lot of people out there. And that snobbery can go, you know, in many different directions, from brand to, you know, automatic or not, and quartz, you know, it can go, people can go crazy about it. But for me, of course, getting back to the movement, I prefer an automatic. If it's a quartz, I'll still wear it. A lot of the Invicta watches that I have are quartz. So you kind of sacrifice. And you're not really sacrificing the time-telling capability or the look or the quality. You're just sacrificing that checkbox that you want for the look. If I have the choice between automatic and quartz, of course I'll go automatic. My dad's the opposite. My dad would prefer quartz because he doesn't have to worry about setting the time. You know, he'll take it off, put it back on. Doesn't have to worry about changing it. You know, it just stays there, you know. So what else? So this does have the NH35. Again, when we come to the automatic movement part of a watch, if you have a watch with an NH35, it's pretty much whether you know, who you care to watch on YouTube or who you trust or who you don't. I think we can all agree an NH35 is a well-respected automatic movement. That's why it's put into so many different watches out there, from watches that cost thousands of dollars to watches that cost, you know, $99, $65. I think a lot of times the difference in movements and why a brand might use a different movement is so they can rationalize a higher price for their watch. If you go getting a, like for instance, my Aqua Dive, right, with a ETA 7840, I think it is, -2. I think it's actually a regulated ETA as well, which adds a little bit to the price because somebody's taking the time to do that. It's all factored into the price. But at the end of the day, it tells good time, and so does the NH35 for a fraction of the cost. So I think a lot of times a company like that may not necessarily want to put an NH35 in the watch because they want to get a $2,000 price point for the watch. So that all adds to the price, right? It's all a game being played a lot of times. So, but regardless of the fact, NH35, that's all you need. Lens. This is not, now that's kind of where my check boxes kind of stop. But the other check boxes for other people are, what kind of crystal does it have? You know, this does have a sapphire crystal with an anti-reflective coating. Sapphire, most scratch-resistant crystal you can get when it comes to watches. But remember, the argument people make is like, if it's not sapphire, they try to make the argument, just like when it comes to quality, that it's an insane difference. If you have sapphire, they plant the seed of doubt in your mind that you need sapphire because anything else is going to scratch really easily. The facts of the matter is none of these crystals scratch really easily, and you really have to be pretty abusive or really grind on a watch in order to scratch a crystal, right? I mean, if it doesn't make any sense to me to take a scratch kit and like show somebody, hey, look at this, the sapphire is more resistant. Like, are you purposely trying to scratch your watch? If you are, then maybe sapphire is the choice for you, but for most people, it doesn't make a hill of beans of difference. And the rest, as far as the specifications, 43, and these may be checkboxes for people, but we're going to leave the checkboxes in the dust here and just talk about what this watch has. 43 millimeter case diameter. I think it's a great size without being too large, without being too small. It's a nice size. Somebody who wants to kind of step into a watch that's a little bit larger than your traditional Submariner style watches, but not too large. 15 millimeter case thickness. I know there'll be some crybabies out there saying, oh, it's too thick, it hurts my wrist. You know, whatever. You know, that's a nice size. I like a watch have a little bit of a wrist presence, or a lot of wrist presence. It just depends on my mood. But I just never really worry about stuff like that, right? I do have assigned a screw-down crown on the side here. Bezel action on this. You know, like any other watch I reviewed, they're all pretty darn decent. You know, you're not gonna pick up any $10,000 Rolex and turn it and be like, oh man, that's such a difference. Like, this is ridiculous to even say something like that. Great bezel, no play in this whatsoever. You know, is it easy to turn? You know, it's subjective. It's not grooved really deep. It's just kind of got these like 45s on the edge. You know, it works. What can I say? What else? You have lume around the indices, and of course lume in the center of that beautiful whale we got on there. And just like a 3-link bracelet, a little bit different than your standard like oyster style. There's a little bit more of a curve to center links, all kind of brush finish. No mirror polishing on this watch that I can tell. Oh, a little bit on the edge of the lugs here, a teeny bit. So very sleek, very icy, very satin kind of watch. And 22mm stainless steel fold-over clasp. It is a milled clasp, which is a checkbox for some folks. Just one's not better than another. I think it looks a little cleaner, right? A little more, it looks higher quality, right? And of course, a dual push button deploying clasp, 3 levels of micro adjustment, and these are push pin links. That's about it, really. I mean, just a really cool watch. I knew as soon as I saw this on their website, I had to have it. 2-year international warranty, 50mm lug to lug, and a 300-meter water resistance. That's about it, folks. Stunning, awesome, definitely has a cause. Whether or not that cause contributes to any kind of issues in the world is yet to be determined, but still a breathtaking watch. Absolutely love it, and I think you guys will too. So without further ado, let's throw on the wrist. I'm about 5'8". I weigh about 175 pounds, and I have a 7-inch wrist. Unfortunately, I didn't size this, so you can kind of see, you know, if I have a 7-inch wrist, this will probably fit up to a 9. That is something I wish Spinnaker would put on there, but you know, for the most part, most watches out there will fit about a 6 to a 9-inch wrist. So that's kind of the average. I think if they make these watches to fit most people. I don't think you'll have any problems. I was going to kind of hold that on the wrist here so you can see what that 43mm looks like on a 7-inch wrist. Again, you know, everybody's body's different. You'll hear a lot of people getting, you know, when we talk about size of watches, you know, you got to wear what you like and what makes you feel comfortable. None of these watches are going to look ridiculous on anybody, whether they're too small, in my opinion, or some folks might say, you know, they're too large. There's folks out there who won't wear anything more than a 39 and think this is like, you know, gigantic, like a 43mm. Oh, it's so huge. Like, and there's other folks who, you know, like me, is like, this is just a standard size watch. It's not too big, it's not too small. Again, I'm really open-minded with watches. I wear all different watches. The only thing I don't wear is smaller ones, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't. When I say smaller, really anything under 40 is kind of like my limit. But if it's a really cool watch, I mean, I'll rock it. You know, I don't really, there's nothing I won't really wear on my wrist. You know, I just appreciate all different makes and models, and they're a lot of fun regardless. Very cool piece with a very cool story. So that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do like the content, subscribe to the channel. If I can help you in any way, drop me a comment or drop me an email. I get back to everybody who comments, unless you're a knucklehead, then I just delete your comment. But other than that, I'm always here to help. Do use my coupon code. I think it's like 10% off, and the link is in description. So if you do make a purchase, let me know. I love hearing about your stories, your excitement when you pick up some of these awesome products that I review. I enjoy the journey that people are taking along with me and adding to your collection. So have a fantastic day. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and take care.